Hello everyone and welcome back to another Blender beginner tutorial. Today I'm going to be running down the basics of an object's origin, how to change it, and a bunch of other tools you can use regarding origins in Blender. So I'll jump straight into it. So the first thing I'm going to do is press Shift and then A on the keyboard, come over Mesh, and I'll left click on Cube. If I turn off my gizmos here, you can see there's a little orange dot in the center. Don't get that confused with this cursor here. That's called 3D cursor. You'll see because when I press G and then X, that cursor doesn't move with it. But that orange dot there in the center of this cube is what we call the origin. Now the origin essentially controls how the object is transformed. This usually isn't too important for location, although it may be in certain instances, but we are mainly concerned with rotation and scale. You will notice if I press R to rotate my object, you'll see it rotates from the center of the object. You'll also notice if I press S to scale, it will scale from the center of the object. Now, if I come to my tool window here and under transform in effect only, check the origins box, then I press G, you'll notice I can now move the origin, and if I move it way over here, as you can see it can be moved outside the mesh, and now I turn that off. Now that I've moved the origin, you'll notice when I rotate the object by pressing R, it doesn't rotate from the center of it anymore. It now rotates relative to where that origin is. And so essentially this now allows me, if I turn on this effect only origins again and move it, and then turn it off again, I can control exactly how I want the cube to be rotated and also how I want to scale it by pressing S. You'll see it scales in a different manner. Now let's say you've moved your origin a lot and you want to return it to the center of our cube. You just need to make sure a cube is selected with left click, then press right click, then under set origin, press origin to geometry. And now when I press R to rotate, it's now rotating from the center of the cube again. Another thing I want to show you is moving the origin using the 3D cursor. So let's say I want my origin to be at the corner of this cube here. To achieve that, I would need to select my cube, press tab, enter edit mode, and in vertice select mode, which is 1 on the keyboard in edit mode, I'll left click this one vertice here, then I'll press Shift S, and this is where I can change where my selections and 3D cursor goes. And now I'll just press cursor to selected. You'll notice that my cursor has now moved there. Then all I need to do is press tab to enter object mode, right click with my cube selected again, set origin, and now origin to 3D cursor. Now you'll notice when I rotate my object, it's now rotating off that one corner because I've moved my origin there. Now what if I wanted to have it in the center of this face, or if I wanted to have it on this one edge here? Well, this time we need to go into edit mode, and we can still do this in vertice select mode. We can now shift left click this vertice here, and we can do shift S again and press cursor to selected. Now you'll notice that 3D cursor moves there. Then when I press tab to enter object mode, right click, set origin, origin to 3D cursor, it now goes to the middle of that edge. And now when I rotate, it will rotate off that. As some of you might have guessed, if I go into edit mode, and for this example I'll just go into face select with 3 on the keyboard, click this face, shift S, cursor to selected, I can now achieve a similar result by then pressing right click, set origin, origin to 3D cursor. Of course, a little bit of experimentation with this yourself will help you understand how this works in greater detail. Now, let's say that I've gone into edit mode, selected all my vertices, pressed G and then X, and then moved my cube to a ridiculous number, and then tab out into object mode. How would I get my object back to where my origin is? Well, to do that, with my object selected, you can select it here in this panel, or you can left click the origin, then I can right click, set origin, and geometry to origin will bring that cube right back. And that brings me into another thing that I should probably mention, is if I press tab and enter edit mode, you'll notice when I move my cube, my origin does not move with it. Whereas when I'm in object mode and I move my geometry, my origin does move with it. So that's a very important thing to keep in mind. So what this might mean for you is, for example, if I've clicked this face in edit mode, press G and then Z to move it up, then I tab out object mode and try to rotate it, you'll notice it pivots off a certain point. So if I wanted to pivot in the center again, I would just need to right click, set origin, origin to geometry. And now when I rotate, it rotates the way in which I'm wanting to in this instance. And that's pretty much everything you need to know about origins. If you do have any questions, make sure to let me know in the comments section below. And if you want to see more tutorials like these, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to be notified when I make new videos. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you all found it useful, and I'll see you all in the next video.